Reviews suck. Let's elaborate. Reviews are stupid to read or watch before engaging in said media, but I think they're great for afterwards. I understand why some people watch reviews. I love them too, but not to determine if I'm going to watch or read something first. I used to, but over time I grew out of it, then noticed many others haven't. If anything, more people are listening to them than ever. Have you ever had a conversation with someone about a show or something and they act like they have a strong opinion on it? Yet, when you press them about it, they admit they just saw a review or heard someone else talk about it. You can say that something looks good or lame if you haven't seen it, but when you confidently talk about the quality of a film, your opinion is kind of valid if you haven't even seen the movie. Now, it's nothing serious, but I feel like more and more people are getting their opinions from reviewers and they lead on, going as far as listing the same complaints verbatim as popular reviews. I've been in similar situations when I was in school and would act like I knew what I was talking about when discussing a book I didn't read but researched instead. Even if they have seen said media, their opinion of it is often skewed depending on if they heard good or bad things about it prior. I used to think they could help people decide if something is up their alley, but that's honestly a gamble. Don't believe me? Check out reviews for things you like. Not just the critically acclaimed stuff, but just movies you like. There's a ton of examples, but the one that made me realize reviews are irrelevant was when Rotten Tomatoes said Howard the Duck was worse than Morbius. Critics are people like you or me, with their own preferences and biases. Would you trust someone who only likes art house films, snobby schlock, to tell you what films are good? Merely acting like all movies are good or bad depending on how well put together they are is a pretty narrow way of looking at things. We all like bad movies, come on. There's a reason why people love The Room, Basket Case, and Freddy Got Fingered. Are those films conventionally good films? No. But they sure as hell are great. I want to eventually make a sort of list cataloging different types of good movies that don't just classify conventionally good movies or B movies. Now, Rotten Tomatoes is one of many review outlets, and though YouTube reviewers are far better, they still tend to have their own problems. They often show clips, and depending on which clips are shown, paint the media in a certain way, kind of spoiling things even if not intended. This can even apply to certain trailers. Some trailers can spoil huge parts of the movie. Honestly, the ideal way to watch a movie is without seeing the trailer or knowing much besides the general synopsis. Now, I'm not going to act like you shouldn't watch trailers, but the truth is some are better than others. And the best tend to show the least and leave you wanting to see the full movie to get the full picture. I'm just saying, if you can, try avoiding the trailer. If what you've heard or what little you've already seen interests you, you'll probably have a better first experience with the movie. How many times have you been watching a movie and either know something is coming from the trailer or you're like, the movie's almost over, when's that one particular scene coming? You're more likely to actually be surprised and feel the natural twists and turns of a movie depending on how little you know going in. This is even more true with TV show reviews. TV series are often quite long and require a degree of dedication. It should be no surprise if you know certain things are going to happen in later seasons of the show that kind of taints the experience. Part of the attachment you get with TV shows is that you're on a ride with the characters and know just as much as to where things are heading as they themselves do. Some of the best movie experiences people have had were from friends or family putting on a movie they're unaware of or catching a random movie playing on TV to then experience the film in the most authentic way possible. Trailers can be great and memorable, but are at the end of the day just ads made to persuade people to see their film in the first place. You get a more authentic viewing experience without watching a trailer. Trailers give you a certain expectation of what the film is like, showing you the most flashy parts, and depending on your interpretation of the trailer, you might be let down watching the movie. Personally, I watch trailers for new movies, but not for older ones at this point. For the most part, I just gauge whether or not I'll like a film by how it looks, and the concept, along with what genre it is, and etc. I feel like nowadays it's easier to stumble across interesting movies. It can be a clip you see on social media that you think is cool, and after reading the comments you find out the name and give it a shot. It can be a recommendation from a friend or just by looking at the poster art. Although I'll say it's not as easy on streaming nowadays with how they ruin old movie posters for no reason at all. I honestly feel like more times than not you can tell whether a movie is up your alley by just briefly looking at the front page of Google. Now I know not everyone has the same feelings. I'm the kind of guy who likes not knowing what I'm getting into and having my lack of expectations surpassed, but I just feel like we can all form our own unique input of a piece of media without the echoes of someone in your ear saying how they feel.